Shout out to US ARC and all US ARC members. If you don't know what US ARC is, don't be ashamed. Just go ahead and click the third link in the description below. See what US ARC is all about, okay? You never know when legislations are going to hit your backyard, so that's why it's very important to consider becoming a US ARC member today. These numbers really do matter, and they look at it for consideration when it comes to battling legislation. So first and foremost, thank you, Phil Goss. Thank you to anybody out there who partners up and volunteers with US ARC organization. Thank you for anyone out there who's a US ARC member. And if you can't become a US ARC member today, please talk about it on your platforms. Let your neighbors know, let all your pet stores know what US ARC is here for, and it's here to fight for our animal rights. Thank you to every US ARC member and US ARC supporter out there. True.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
All right. Hello, everybody. You're now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast network in the world, the Trap Talk Reptile Network. This is Krista with the Girls Who Love Reptiles, and we're already on episode 26. Really excited to have Miss Gabby on with Morph Menagerie tonight, talk about all the species she keeps and breeds, and she also hosts her own reptile show and shop. So we're going to get into all of that, and really excited. If you're new here, don't be afraid to hit the notification bell, subscribe, get notified. We're 7 days a week now, bringing to you coverage from wide variety of species and everything that's up and coming in the hobby week to week with news. So go ahead and do that if you haven't. Look at the description below also to join the Trap Talk Patreon group. I've been in it for I would say a little over a year now, and it's been a great experience to get tapped in with a lot of people who keep various new species and to just keep on learning and making those into connections and network. It's so important in this game, I think, to be successful in the long run is networking. So look in the description below to get tapped in, and hope you all are doing great tonight. It's nice to see you guys, and we have Phoenix here chilling out, so say hi to some of you guys in the chat. Before that, any updates for me? Not much. I've been swamped the past couple weeks with work. It's been crazy trying to do the exam and get everything prepped for possibly graduating in August. I have a big meeting on Tuesday. I need to go pretty well, so I've been working on that. So I worked all day in the lab yesterday, and then today we were interviewing the new set of residents coming in. So that started about close to 8:45 or 9 a.m. and I just got home about 15 minutes ago. So it's been a crazy busy weekend, and I hope it calms down pretty soon. So I'll say hi to you guys before I bring Miss Gabby on. So we got Mike. Thanks for tapping in. We got Marcus with Lucid Arboreals. Thanks for tapping in, Marcus. We got Boza, always supporting everybody in the hobby. Thanks for being here. Adrian, Trapper, thanks for coming in. We got Emma here, a new name. Fan of Gabby, it looks like. Thanks for coming in, guys. Yeah, and with that, I'll kind of just bring the top ones on. We'll go ahead and bring Miss Gabby on and start our conversation. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, hi, Krista. How are you?
Doing pretty well. It's been a busy weekend. So yeah, hey, it happens, but I'm looking for a break. How's your weekend been going?
Good. I have a 6-year-old, and he's been sick all weekend, so we've been just hanging out. He's obsessed with on HBO the Harry Potter baking championship. So we've watched like the first episode 17 times now.
Oh, is there just one episode?
No, there's like 8.
Oh, he just likes the first one.
So yeah, but hey, it means I'm getting him into Harry Potter, and I'm a happy camper for it. So
yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
He's sick, but nice to chill.
Exactly. It sucks that he's sick, but it's been very calm. We've cleaned out closets and things that need to get done. So I'm happy for that at least.
I'm hoping later this week I can, catch up on some housework stuff. Everything's kind of just been on pause really till just put work ahead of everything right now. So
I totally understand.
yeah, you have those weeks. But yeah, so tell us a little about yourself, like what part of the country you're in. I always like to hear people's journey into this. I know it's like the classic question, but I always really like people's journey and kind of where you got to where you are and what you're doing currently.
Okay, I can do all of that. There's been a lot. So I am originally from South Florida. It's kind of how I got into reptiles. There was just like a huge community in South Florida at the time. And before, everything had gone a little wild, there was Ben Siegel reptiles and underground reptiles. And like, we would always go to the stores and like, just meet people. There's Brian, this guy who's really nice, who I used to see at the store all the time. Fast forward 20 years later, is now vending for what's the caging company? I'll remember it in a second and I'll tell you. But like, I see him and like, it's just so cool to go back so far and come here. But so yeah, I was there. I had a crested gecko collection back then. Probably, I don't want to age myself, but about 20 years ago. And then I sold everything, moved to North Carolina, started all the business here regarding like, I'm also a hairstylist. So doing hair. And then when I was with my husband, or at the time fiance, I had already had, I think I got back into it with having like lychees and ball pythons. I bred ball pythons first, actually, and crusteds. And then, and then I don't know if you know Shane Herbold. He was the first person to have highway gene.
Oh, and wow.
I had gone to his house and to Mike Bell back in the day. So I got to see the first I think it was Candino, he named it, and some other really cool morphs or whatever. And then probably I would say 7 to 8 years ago, I started the reptile game all over again and really ramped up. And you can go back into like our Instagram page and see we had really gone balls to the wall and haven't looked back since. So, and now we're in Raleigh, North Carolina, technically Youngsville, and have now about 6 months ago opened our first reptile store where we've had amazing people come and visit and do some podcasts on as well. And then I host a reptile show called Florida Fauna Conference, upstate New York, once a year. So all of the things.
Yeah, crazy busy. We'll get into each.
Yeah.
A little bit of that. Wow.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's good.
Yeah, it keeps you busy for sure. So what species do you keep currently?
So like personal, like hobby projects are going to always still be crested geckos. I love them. They're so versatile. And I like starting with ball pythons. Everything is so like definitive genetics. Like it is or it isn't. Whereas with cresteds, they're polymorphic, and there are genes, definitive morphs as well, like, codom and all the fun stuff, some hets. And I really enjoy the outcomes of, just randomly and not randomly pairing projects together and just having multiple outcomes. Like, whereas like, just to go basic with it, with ball pythons, you really only need so many pastels and you need so many this, so many that. Whereas like me, I have 100 tricolors and I'm a happy camper. So, there's a lot more, for me, there's a lot more versatility in that. And I don't have to keep up as much as you guys do in that ball python world, because there is so many new genes since I started.
Yeah, so many. And I feel like I see a lot of people just kind of chase the market or whatever the top combos that the new people are producing, which to each their own. I kind of just am going the route of producing stuff I like and still being kind of unique with it, and maybe taking what other people do as sort of an inspiration to see if it can work in the stuff that I'm working. So the polymorphism thing is very interesting because I see that in the leopard geckos as well.
Yeah.
So at first it was, I think, a little maybe confusing because my brain is so like ball python kind of oriented. So the leopard geckos, I see these pictures, I'm like, how did they get that? And of course they're not posting, and probably it's a lot of work to get that kind of look. So it's just a lot more thinking and planning involved with that. Kind of makes sense. And it's like a longer road, I feel like, a little bit, which from a business standpoint may not be so bad because it takes you longer and it's harder to get certain looks that you want. Not everybody can just make that look like that. It takes years of line breeding. You can always, I guess, spend a lot of money and get the look you want. But even then, probably more.
But in the crested world, and I don't know if it's like that in the leopard gecko world, line breeding is a huge no-no.
Okay.
So that's the difference that I came into, where like you could totally line breed. There was no qualms, no issues. And one of the biggest controversies in crested gecko world, can you line breed? Well, here's the deal. You need, you know, to discover new genes, you kind of have to in some capacity. So there's tons, we like all these controversial conversations. There are tons of different perspectives on that. So it's funny how you mentioned that, but that was a big thing I had to overcome too.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, and leopard geckos, it's a lot of line breeding. And I'm kind of trying to figure that out as well because I want to stay smaller. But if you stay smaller, it's hard because you don't want to, you know, directly line breed too much. Otherwise, you get issues. You want fresh blood. So that's interesting with the crested gecko. Is it constantly new blood then that you have to do? How do you not line breed if it's polymorphic?
It's that's why I think it's so controversial. It's like, as much as I want to say like, okay, it's really because there's some really ugly stuff out there too. You know what I mean? And I don't mean to say ugly, like everybody loves their babies the way they love their babies. If you're a collector or if you have 2 or 3, like, yes, there's like a different like mental process regarding how you feel about them. Some of it is, I'm just so like fascinated by this. I need to learn more. And there's people who are like, let me put little dragon wings on mine. It's so cute. Like, there is a different perspective for keeping. However, we, especially as like bigger breeders, try to recommend to newer breeders, or if it's just like a 1 or 2 time pairing, breed to enhance the what you're looking for, not to make more of, I don't want to say flawed, but like if you have a crested gecko who's got a really long head, very, you know, like very narrow and skinny and small and all those things, if you breed that with another thing, like there's no point. You're not helping the genetic pool with them. Granted, now looking back, there was only so many ever imported and that was it. So are they probably all related in some capacity? Yes, there's like, it's overlapping left and right, but people really do as best they can to track at least certain generations back to make sure that they're not intentionally like super close line breeding. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. I know lineage is a huge thing in the crested gecko world as well with that. Okay.
We actually don't have a single gecko, with the exception of one from northern gecko, which comes from certain lines, that is not like tracked. It's crazy. And do I believe that it needs to happen? You know, I go back and forth with my feelings on it, but I also don't want to not track for the people who really like something and do track the lineage. So it's kind of, we perpetuate the cycle.
Okay. How do you track?
So honestly, it's just really parents posting their lineage and who they're from. And if we produced it, then going back one more. And basically there's like this network of people all on socials that you can even just post, say, hey, where did this come from? And like 13 people have all the information. It's pretty impressive, but it's really just dating back to who has what and when and where and why. And it basically all cycles back to like 3 or 4. I'm sorry. I'm so distracted by our comment about huge wiener.
I didn't even see that. I was doing the conversation.
It just like hit me in the face, literally.
Let me just I've never had that happen before.
That's okay. I bring in fun.
Do you know that person?
No idea who that is.
Okay, I just ban them and remove the comments. So
that would be a good idea. But yeah. I wonder if that name, if you say it together, is like a naughty name or something, you know. But anyways, hi Celtic. That's Richard. But anyways, how's everything else with leopard geckos in terms of like, do you guys have to track as far back? Can you do any line breeding? Like, what are like the rules with you?
I think it's pretty variable as well. I mean, I track, but I'm so new into it, I don't go back super far. And though often I find the people that I'm getting myself to don't track. And so it's kind of like you have to start tracking once you get your own stuff.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
You create your own tracking. However, is it really tracking if you can't really go further back? You know, I know.
Correct. There's some people that have to like the T I've seen, but just starting out, I feel like a lot of stuff I got my stock from doesn't.
Yeah.
I mainly, since it's so polymorphic, like I do the tangerines and there's a lot of different lines of tangerine.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's really hard to say what's all in there. So I kind of just go off of looks, like which one is the most
that makes sense
color. And then I always try to know what genes are in there and then kind of go back and forth on if I add or stuff, what visually looks good. And then what are those lines? And that's how I can piece out it. Yeah.
That sounds like fun. A lot of, to be honest, like every other new cow species, like, unless like obviously, like I love seeing all the names rolling on the bottom because a lot of them are friends.
Cool.
Like Brian, unless you're getting something from one of his lines and you want to know the parents, like they're not really tracked the same way. Gargoyles are not tracked the same way, like, you know, stuff like that. So yeah. Only crusteds.
That's interesting why they're tracked. What do you have? I noticed that they're pretty popular. Like a lot of just being new to it, they're kind of more in than I would say leopard geckos. What are your thoughts on that? When did that actually kind of start with a lot of people?
Like the popularity with crested?
Yeah, I'm just a curiosity standpoint. Yeah.
Well, so we're heavily influenced by like our Korean market. That was like huge for us, and that blew up probably, I want to say like 4 years. I can't remember exactly when the importing was allowed, but I want to say about 4 years ago, and it just like made the market explode. And I'm really excited to see that I get a lot of people still asking to buy and that are purchasing from overseas. There was a period of time where they were just like frantic, buy everything, send me everything. And then it kind of shot us all in the foot a little bit because they were breeding so much that they were then starting to sell back to us for a cheaper rate. And like, you know, that's how market crash starts, but it's coming back up again. And I think that it seems that the health of the market feels a lot better. So it was just stabilizing a little bit, and it was a little stressful, but I feel like the popularity is always going to be there just because they're super simple to keep and they're fun, and watching their development. It's not like ball pythons, babies out of the eggs are my favorite. They're so beautiful, clean and crispy and gorgeous. And then they kind of sometimes fade, you know, there's a few genes that prevent that from happening, but it's not as often as much. And I love them both. Like I have ball pythons too. I love them. So it's really fun. There's like this like, okay, let's feed for a while. And, oh, wow. Now let me look at you. You're amazing. So I think that keeps the popularity high with them.
Interesting from a breeder kind of perspective. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense as well. Yeah. I always thought that was interesting. Another thing I've kind of maybe noticed, I just scroll on Morph Market just looking because I just curious. Even though it's some people quote unquote say it's saturated or whatever, I still find that there is a big difference just visually between a high quality, the low quality. Like I see that on the leopard gecko side too. Like, there's a lot on Morph Market, but if you just kind of train your eye, feel like I can see a lot more. Like there's a big difference between the high quality and a low quality one.
Correct. I think there's definitely a visual representation of the people who are strategically breeding for like what we were talking about versus people who are just breed to breed. We need volume. And there was a period of time where people were just breeding to breed because they needed volume.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's another contribution to like how a market can crash. And those people who are not really into it for the passion. And it's funny that you had mentioned about, you know, people chasing morphs and such. It's the same thing. I tell everybody, be passionate about your project, be passionate and love what you're working with. And there will always be somebody who's interested in it because you sell it because of your passion rather than, you know, chasing all of what everybody else is doing. So.
Yeah. It's, I guess the chasing is easy.
Yeah.
Because all of the thinking process and the strategic part is hard. And I feel like you either got it or you don't, kind of. I mean, it's hard to say, but I think it's a talent to have that eye. You can always train the eye.
I literally always say you have to have the eye. It's a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And you either, I feel like, understand or you don't have it. So, yeah. It's interesting.
I think you can train yourself to have the eye. I don't think like, you know, it's just like looking for those subtle things that you're like, I see that. I know what that's going to turn into. And that's honestly a lot of times just looking at something so many times you recognize it when it's teeny tiny. It's like, I can relate it to this because I do it every day. It's like doing hair and I'm at the shampoo bowl. I'm like, oh my God, the color is perfect. I'm so happy. And they're like, how can you tell? It's so dark. And I'm like, I've seen it for 17 years.
Yeah.
I promise I know what I'm talking about. And it's the same thing. Like I see these geckos and I see what the babies look like. And I'm like, okay, I've seen this for a really long time. I know what I'm looking for, you know, things like that. So yes, I think you can have it. I think you innately have the eye and then you can also train a little bit to have that eye too. So.
Yeah. I think that too. When you're breeding, what do you look for as far as structure? I've heard the cressets you like have the big head, or there was like a certain look to the head. What else do you kind of look? And I think the color and pattern and contrast, but what else goes into how you select for your breeding?
It was funny. We actually just did. Do you know about Palm Street?
Yes, I've been on there off and on, kind of checking out stuff. I like watching the auctions. I watched some of the gecko ones and all that, so yeah.
Well, I only say that because yesterday, I went on with one of our employees and very good friends, Aaron. He did a great job cupping up all of our geckos, and we did a live, and we were kind of talking a little bit about how and what we were looking for and what we're doing. And the truth is, some people will say, oh, you shouldn't give away your secrets. And I'm like, not that person. I'm like the biggest open book you'll ever meet. You want to ask me a question, I'm not. Like, I don't gatekeep. I don't do any of that stuff. Like, here you go. This is me. So I do like when it comes to breeding, I love breeding either dark to dark base or yellow to dark base or tricolor. Like, I also like looking at what's in the lineage and saying, oh, okay. So for example, I have this one gecko. He's a yellow, but he also has tricolors in his. And every yellow that comes out with tries look amazing. So let me go this route. And so it's really just experience and like looking. A lot of it's just so visual too. Like you put these two things together, you're like, dang, that works really great. And that's another element to it. So one of the ways I like to do everything is cupping everything up and just looking at it, because sometimes just photos or whatever, it's just not there the same way as it is right in front of you. So big fan of doing that. And I like doing it and incorporating our amazing reptile family to help us and make decisions with us. Sometimes be like, no, executive decision. I know this is going to be great and I'll just do it. But it's nice to like be like, well, what do you guys think? We'll vote on this, vote on that. And then whatever we don't do this season, we can always do next season. So.
Right. How long has the Palm Street been going for the geckos, and how long have you been using that for?
Okay, so that's a good question. I'm very lucky because I got to help them in conception in the gecko and reptile world. I'm a very social person, and community to me is everything. And prior to that, AJ.reptiles and I had been doing auctions for years on YouTube and on Instagram, and we have evolved so much together, and that we lent a lot of our insight to Palm Street, so we were able to help them. I was the first person in the reptile segment to go live, so it was really fun, and that started about 6.5 months ago. So it's pretty early on. That is also proving to have its own course correcting as well. You know, a lot of times people come on, it can diminish some of the value in some ways by certain bigger breeders coming on and maybe moving a lot more stuff. But the truth is, you're really getting to know people and getting to learn who they are and what you like about them. And you start following their lives, and it's really exciting. Like, the giveaways are fun and the personalities are amazing. And you just feel like you're hanging out in that person's living room with them and having a good time while addictively purchasing things. So I'm here for all of it. And I think that it has, like, luckily and very nicely worked itself out to where people are finding a groove, finding a rhythm, and finding like decent price points to start. You know, there's so many options when you auction. You could start at $1 to $10, and you can go start at 100. You could start at 1,000. You could start at so many different price points. It's just trying to kind of come together and create that market where we're not hurting it, and we're bringing it up together. And I really am finding that that's very successful now. So.
Yeah, it looks like when I've watched some of the crescent gecko ones, like I saw one the other night go for, I mean, I don't know what it was worth, maybe non-Palm Street, but it went for almost $1,000, which to me was a lot, because I watched the snake ones a little bit closer because that's what I'm in. And I don't think it's quite there for the snakes, but seeing the crescent gecko, I'm like, okay, people are on here and will spend, you know, granted, like I said, I don't know what that gecko was worth Street, but just seeing that, because I've seen some people auction the ball pythons, and I go on Morph Market and I look up that it's listed for like $4,000 or $5,000, and they end up selling it for, I think it was like 300 and some.
Holy cow! That's very, very, very far apart.
Yeah,
I think it's, you guys are needing to bring the market to Palm Street, because what's going to happen is, like, the competition amongst your buyers is not there yet. And because of that, it's just feeling like that's like what we went through, right? It was a bunch of sellers all wanting to come on all at the same time. And it's so exciting, and you're live and people are right there spending money with you, and it's incredible. But there definitely needs to be a conversion of more of the community coming onto that site. And I guarantee you those prices will go up, and it'll create a lot more popularity. It's just, you kind of got to get the people on, and it's spreading the word and being social and all that stuff about it, which would tremendously help. Because same, we've had geckos. I think our highest few are usually some type of morph or whatever, but usually between $1,000 to $2,000 is like the higher end that goes on there. But we've sold geckos recently between $5,000 and $12,000. So like there's places to have those sales. And a lot of times, like, people don't impulsively decide to spend $1,000 in one night. So you kind of also have to know your audience and ask questions. There's nothing that's going to hurt you by showing something and say, if we have interest, great. If we don't, no problem. But look at something you could work towards. Here's the combos that you could use to make them. And here's some of the offspring. So like, if you can adjust accordingly, you got it, you know?
That's a really smart idea too, using it as, well, it sounds like a social, but also educational tool, which I've seen some of my friends kind of use it as well, trying to get people in. Because a lot of the talk I've kind of heard on the gecko side is it's a little bit easier for people to maybe impulse like a crescent gecko versus a ball python, just because like the setup maybe. So that's what some of the talk has been, like maybe that's why. But just gonna have
to. If you get enough of you guys who are scrolling Morph Market, or you're scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling to just watch instead of scroll, there is a very like psychological effect that happens when you're like, holy cow, that was $1,000. Now it's $400. I got to do it. This is a great deal, or whatever the case is. Like having that live sale and being able to communicate and create that experience for your person who's watching, it's you know, it's valuable. It works. It's just you you kind of all have, as a community, have to come together and be like, okay, are we doing this? Let's do it. Hi, Emma. I love both of you guys. And thank you guys for adding the likes. I appreciate it.
Reptile. Yeah, get the likes up if you haven't. Yeah, it's a cool name. Reptile.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh yeah, thanks, Celtic. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's a really good conversation. I find the Palm Street very interesting. I just like to hop on and see what's going on with, even if I don't work with the species, I still find it fascinating, and maybe I'll get.
Found yourself like interested in the plants?
Not too much. I'm not very good with plants. I've tried them in vivariums here and there, and they always seem to die on me. I don't know. I don't know why. I water them. Maybe it's too much light.
Maybe it's a little bit of everything. You never know. Maybe not. Maybe it's just finding the right plants for you to go in your vivs. But we at the reptile store, we're like reptiles and plants. I don't know if you're able to or when you pull it up, but our site for that is Flora Fauna WF on Instagram. You can kind of get a visual. I'm sure if you look through there, you'll see the store. It's not like a normal store. Like we wanted to go with like a nice touch of class, but approachable. Like, I don't know. I guess maybe after I hit a certain age in my life, like I want my home to feel and look like a home, but I also really love elements of green and reptile and cool things that are fun to talk about. And I think that kind of creates a really approachable, you can still have a nice, living space and keep animals that aren't stinky and, all that fun stuff.
There we go. This is it, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Cool.
So yeah, we just opened 6 months ago. Hi, Crystal.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm sharing the screen here. You can kind of.
So yeah, if you scroll, I'm trying to, it's funny.
It's so funny. I have to look at this. I'm a Swiftie, so.
Me too. I'm a huge Swiftie. Every time someone comes in and they see tailless whip scorpion, they're like, what's a Taylor Swift scorpion?
Oh, that's so funny.
So one of our amazing employees, Jillian, had gone on and she was like, I'm making this. It's going to happen. And I was like, but shouldn't it be a tailless whip scorpion? But like, now it's a Taylor Swift.
That is hilarious.
So we were laughing.
Oh wow, look at this. What is this?
So that Aaron breeds them. They're really cool. If you search them, like the green forest dragons as adults, they're obscenely cool. Like
that is so pretty.
Oh, you won't even believe the can't talk transformation.
Huh.
One of our friends had come in, like you can kind of get. I feel like we have so many cool pictures of just like individual things, but I want to show you the whole store.
Yeah, tell me when to stop scrolling.
Let me see. Scroll down for just a sec. I think it might be like kind of like right when we first opened. She probably did. So our friend Morgan is amazing and she does a lot of our socials. So yeah, you can kind of go up there. Like, yeah. So there you go. You can kind of get an idea of like the store itself. That was a woman who came and did a bio building class, which was really fun.
Oh, super cool. I always wanted to join one of those.
But there you go. You can kind of get, yeah, sorry. I was gonna say you can kind of get an idea or a visual representation of like the store. We have the tree and since then have art hanging on it and our personal collection of snakes. And every day we're redoing new things. We're constantly moving stuff around. That's our friend Noelle. She's putting the frogs that we had gotten in there. So
that's just man, that is awesome. Gorgeous. That is so, I want one of those.
The biorbs are amazing. Yeah. We sell them and everybody's obsessed with them.
And you can what can you put in there? Dart frogs and
so basically terrestrial species. Darts just do so well in them, but you can create an arid climate as well. You could do scorpions and other, stuff. And then we also had a fish tank that one of our friends that we partnered with did. And then this is the Bioorb Earth, which is like one of the coolest things. It has heat, cooling, everything. God. You could do a lot of leaf tail species in here because it gets down to like the 50s. It goes all the way up to 120. It's got UV, everything. It's just incredible. So 10 out of 10 would recommend. But anyways, if you go out of there, you can just kind of flip through. I'll send you on the side some images, but like that's our cash wrap and that's our plant wall. And
the plant wall here, pull this up.
some really cool stuff there. Oh yeah, there's like a little walkthrough. This is like right before we opened, and you kind of get an idea. We've changed up the front since. We always have different stuff going on, but we do classes, and like this week we have a plant propagation class. Then we're going to teach how to make, how to build these really cute little cloche with preserved bugs, and just a lot of fun stuff with the store. So we really love it.
That is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really,
yeah,
really pretty store. The design is just gorgeous inside. It's like modern, but it kind of gives you like a earthy sort of feel to it, like you're out. Okay, this is where it ends.
Exactly, that's where we start. Yeah. And you'll see, like, we had redone the floors, like started everything over. Emily Burke is incredible. She did our mural that you'll see kind of up there on one of the next posts.
Oh yeah, look at that.
So yeah, you'll see that's her getting started. It's just so beautiful. She did such an incredible job. I think that video shows it.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah. Isn't it so beautiful?
Oh, this is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was her. It was just such a fun time. That was it was either the end of May or very early June. And she just busted this bad boy out. We opened June 15th. Wait till you see. And like each step of the way, she uses paint on all of the individual scales that is iridescent. So depending on where the sun is and hitting she just see it.
Wow. Yeah. That is
walk up and not see any color at any point of the day. And yeah, it's so cool.
That is amazing. My mind's just blown how it's evolved to that, where you can just create different looks as the sun goes. Wow. That's really neat.
Really cool. And where she's standing, we converted into a redfoot and cherry head enclosure. So they just love walking around in the front window, and it's really fun.
What all the species do you have in the store?
Oh my God, everything. Well, I shouldn't say everything. We really try to do, that's my husband who's right there kneeling. He's actually there a lot more than I am, because I also still do hair, but I try to do all of our socials, and I do a lot of the ordering and other fun stuff, and people stuff, and he loves doing all the builds and stuff like that. But we keep everything, like our personal breeding stuff. We have a lot of boas, carpets, and we have a few other fun things like corn snakes and all that jazz, but we try to keep a little bit of everything that we can. We don't do anything that's huge, because the reality is we don't have enough space to really house massive species. And we're really passionate about proper enclosure sizes and proper husbandry. Our reps always make fun of us because we are the people who never order like terrarium pre-made kits, like bearded dragon kits, gecko kits, because they're seldom accurate.
Correct. So frustrating.
It's so frustrating, but yeah, this is the store.
It's awesome. Yeah, more of these need to pop up and get away from the big box pet stores. Hopefully this is kind of a movement in that direction, because that
helps motivate.
Yeah, other people can. What made you want to do the shop? Was it something you always wanted to do, or
always? Well, when I moved to Raleigh, I was 26. I'll be 39 next month. And when I moved here, I had no reptile stores. There was nothing. Like, I could go to PetSmart and Petco, but I grew up with specialty stores that had more than just a couple of snakes that, I'm sorry, they don't always look great, and the crested care and everything, like they're all on the exact same substrates, heat, this, that, the next, I couldn't buy a bag of Pangea or any Rapashi anywhere, and we have all of that. We have feeders, we have quail, we have, rats. That's something that we were still trying to keep up with now. There's a few other stores that had rodents, and we never had, I don't know how to explain it. We just never had the, like, full capacity to breed everything that all these other stores then stopped breeding and now we're doing, which I love, you know. But we are upping our rat breeding and trying to work on gauging that. That's kind of been a fun trial tribulation. But for the most part, really, it was a necessity. And I've always wanted to do it. I'm like so happy I could just check it off the list and say we brought community together. And we just figured, since a lot of people love plants and a lot of people love reptiles, we'll bring them together, do both, and hopefully create more community for both sides of the hobbies. So
for sure, yeah, they go so hand in hand, and you see that the All American Plant Reptile Expo. Those guys, I did the one in Kansas City. Yeah, kind of a similar thought on the show market, but yeah, in the store just also makes total sense, and that's how we can help get more people, I think, for sure, in the hobby, is kind of converting some of the plant people over. And talking to them at the show, they seemed pretty amenable to it. They're like, yeah, I'd like to get some geckos for our vivariums that we've been keeping, you know, with just plants. So I think they're pretty amenable on the gecko part. I think the snakes get a little more challenging with the plants that can be put in there, and they crush them, and
we have a harder time finding more resistant plants for certain species of snakes. But truthfully, like green trees and ETBs, like stuff like that, they're fun to kind of create really massive enclosures for. And like very strategically placing certain plants, it can still look somewhat naturalistic. But I agree, they're a little bit heavier and they tend to flop more onto things, and it's harder to come by. It's funny that you mentioned that. I started a Flora Fauna conference. What year was it? I think it was, we're going into our fourth. So 2021 was the first year I hosted it. And I'll never forget, I went to Tinley and I just spoke to everybody and their mother, because we needed plants and we needed reptiles to merge. And that was the conception of Flora Fauna Conference. And it tended, is that the right word? It ended up going to being more of a heavier gecko and high-end plant show, only because I'm so fortunate to have such incredible friends in the gecko hobby, and they all came to support us and do it. And we had a few other really incredible people. We have some amazing like hognose people that come out. I actually spoke to Troy, and he was like, oh yeah, I'll try to come out this year and try to get a few more ball python people. But the coolest part about it is held upstate New York. My aunt owns a wedding venue that we hosted at. And it is like summer camp for adults. We have so many fun things. We have a DJ that comes out. We have a dance party with a bar and dinner and like a silent and live auction. And we just have so much fun. One day we do conference work, which is our last day. And we host classes like plant propagation classes and how to build a vivarium and how to and all of these really cool things. Brian Susan hosts a like a natural a herping tour essentially, and we do that. We have yoga in the morning. We have massage therapists and facialists. So we have like all these. It's like such a fun, like relaxing but beautiful environment. And if you haven't come or you haven't seen it, you should go look into it and try to make it out this year. It's May. It's the first weekend in May this year.
First weekend in May. That sounds. So when you say conference, I always think work conference. So it's also a vending show, but do you give them like educational stuff?
Yeah. So we created a schedule that had not been done before. We did in this capacity. We did a Friday night preview. Everybody came in, set up. Very typical to Tinley. I wanted kind of like that experience. The very first year we did, it was like trying to figure it out kind of a deal. We did 3 days of show essentially. And it was just too much. We're like, we're not getting into the conference side of it. Like, what else can we do?
Right.
So for the next year, we just shifted everything. Friday, you come, people are welcomed from, I think 3 to 8. Then afterwards, the vendors get a welcome party where we feed them. wine. We do wine and dine. We do fire pit and s'mores.
Oh, wow.
We have so much fun. It's super social, big on networking. Then the next morning, we always also have like a vendor back room. So vendors get coffee and breakfast and snacks and all this fun stuff throughout the whole day. AJ always gives us a hot dog roller. It's really fun. And we have hot dogs all day too. We have food trucks. And then the show day Saturday is from typically 9 to 4. Everybody breaks down at 4 o'clock, done. Everybody's out by 5, 5:15, 5:30. Sponsors stay set up along the walls essentially. And then we switch to party mode, and everybody, including all of our VIPs and our vendors, all come. And this year's theme is iconic movies. So we do a dress up party. Last year was 80s. And then we party. We have so much fun. We all dance and sing and have a contest. And it's just like, it feels like you go to a wedding, but like a bunch of gecko people. And then Sunday morning starts with yoga and then brunch. So we do brunch, and that's when we have conferences where we will usually do 1 or 2 big roundtable conversations, talk about Q&A stuff, a lot of, like things that you would see on a podcast, a lot of questions that people are curious about. We have some of our industry leaders do that. And then we do classes, and then we do herping and all that fun stuff. And it's like a fun-filled retreat-like weekend.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, a little bit of everything. And it's unique to the point where I haven't heard any other show do that. Is that a correct statement? Like nobody else is doing
Nobody does what we do.
Yeah.
We put a lot of love into this show, like a lot of love. We advertise like crazy. But one of the things that we were considering is maybe adding it to a couple other locations. And really maybe not be as so like Flora Fauna Wyndham essentially is just going to be unique. Like tell me any other wedding venue that you're going to ever go to that is going to allow a bunch of us reptile people.
crazy people.
Every year after my aunt and uncle are like, well, we found this animal up. I found this bug. I found out this. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'll come get it. And whatever. But, it's not as common, but we were considering doing more show with conference because it's just such a useful tool to have, having education, having seminars, having, people talk and feel like you can approach the hobby is how you bring new hobbyists in. It's how you create diversity and how you make people feel welcome. And that's like a huge thing, is just not letting anybody feel left out. And, this is a great way to meet and talk to everybody.
Knowledge is power for sure. So if you can equip people with the knowledge to take their projects a certain way, it's going to give them a lot more, I want to say faith, but,
confidence to move forward in the project they're working on.
Yeah. That's a good word to put on there. Yeah. The confidence to invest more or take their project a certain way. And the networking thing is huge. I hope people understand how big of a importance that is. That's all I kind of did all through school. And that's what I think it got me to every place I'm at now is the networking, from college to vet school to residency program. It's all about who you know.
Yeah.
This is part of it.
It is. And like, if you have an issue or the hobby is as welcoming and loving as it can also be kind of hard and harsh and a little cancely, which I don't always love either, but I feel like if you have the right people and the right connections in your corner, you can talk it out and have, just feel like you're supported. And by meeting these people, making friends and breaking bread, essentially, you create camaraderie that you couldn't really get in another capacity. And that's how this all came to fruition. If you wanted to, you should see it. It's beautiful. That is Flora Fauna Conference on Instagram if you wanted to look.
Yeah. Let me pull that up too.
I get so excited because I want people to see how much fun it is and how pretty it is.
Yeah. What's been the biggest challenge to starting like the show? Like what are some things that you weren't expecting that maybe came up or, during the fruition of it.
Yeah. I think the hardest part, especially where we picked, like we have a location that's harder to go to, but it is a destination. You're not going to go to a city center where you're at a fairgrounds and you're going to say, this is so glamorous and so beautiful. What an experience. You know, it's harder to come by. So the bigger struggle, I think, would probably be having to travel is a bigger adjustment for people and thus getting more people. However, on the other hand, the people who are coming are very serious about coming. So
I found it here.
In a way, I kind of prefer it this way because what happens is you have people who show up because they want to be there and you don't have to explain 195 times. That was our party last year.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't have to explain like the basic.
No, but you'll see kind of as you flip through, Morgan usually does like a quick, like all the way around the show type thing. But that right there is the venue itself. There you go.
Wow, look at that. It's like a yeah, it's definitely a rustic vibe.
Beautiful, and it's a vibe. And like you could just sit on the Adirondack chairs. Like, look at how none of these people knew each other when they came to the show. They were friends. And it's just such a cool experience. I'm so proud of it.
Yeah, that's look at that. Everybody's having
that's our story.
Fun.
I wonder why that got added into it. Oh, maybe because she was promoting that we had just opened. But yeah, so you'll see. Anybody can go on there and get tickets. We have them on Eventbrite. But like, look at the view that you see. Our yoga is amazing.
Oh yeah.
It's just
here's a view of it.
We have a part of the conference that we host in what we call the Enchanted Forest, and you go down into the woods, and it's like where there's a bunch of chairs set up for people to get married, and it is so romantic and so beautiful. And Dirt Daddy Kenny has hosted a class there. It's really beautiful. So, there it is, right there. You see?
This one?
Yeah, down low. You'll see. Not that.
Not this one down below a bit more.
Right.
This. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that so pretty? We had a photography class out there.
Cool. Yeah. That's awesome.
Such a beautiful experience. So we recommend if anybody hasn't gone, you guys should come. It's just,
I'm definitely going to have to add this to the,
you should put it in the circuit and come and do we'll have like a certain couple of hours where it's quiet, where you guys can do some podcasts if you want and do it.
I'll talk to Angela and see when we can do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Zen Habitats is really nice. Donate that to us. And then so that was our logo down low. Every year, Emily gives us new, there's a chance. I don't know what my battery life is on. I probably should plug my computer in. But yeah, so anyways, you can kind of see from there. We just have some amazing vendors. We have the most incredible experiences. We're so lucky to have such a beautiful place to host such a wonderful show. And like, you just see all the people together, and it's just unbelievable.
Look at this. Yeah, look how pretty that is. Wow.
So gorgeous.
Definitely unlike.
Oh, and so that's the manor house that's on the same property. So it's actually a different color now. They redid the exterior, but we have 12 suites there. So people just stay right there and walk back and forth. It's just
nice.
Yeah, it makes an experience of it. And then that's the fire pit everybody sits out at. And
Wow.
So that's the show. You should come. We will totally hook you up with a ticket.
Yeah. I know these guys too. Cool.
Yeah, Tyler and Maddie, they're amazing.
I like watching his YouTube show.
Yeah. They're good friends. We're very lucky.
Cool.
That's Pam. She's one of the most incredible people. I always tell her, one day you're going to make me your best friend because she's a fun personality. But like, if you go up actually a little bit, you'll see on the left, that was like one of the conferences where everybody was sitting around and talking and asking questions and learning. So we have our panels, and we're going to work on who our panels are going to be and what our topics will be this year. So that's that.
Very cool. Awesome. Yeah. I'm going to have to definitely check this out because it is a gorgeous venue and just a very unique an experience, really. I mean, don't want to be cliche, but it really is it's experience as a whole.
experience.
yeah.
People look forward to it, and they say they can't wait to go back, and we're here for it. So,
and you can see the website now that I'm sharing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I don't see it. It's not loaded for some reason. It's still on Instagram, but
here.
The website is right on our Instagram, so you can always just go click the link.
Okay. I might scroll through it really quickly and see if it will let me. Okay, yeah. Just want people to. There we go. So you can buy your tickets and
Yep. Everything's right there.
It's right there. Cool.
We also have like what the dates are, where you could stay, discount codes, everything. It should all be right there for you.
Very cool. Yeah, I like how this website's set up too. It's very, very simple and easy to.
We want it as approachable as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Thanks for talking about all my things.
No, it's super cool and fascinating to find somebody that does all these things and at a level that you're doing them. So that's a struggle that I sometimes do too, with doing too many things and then it's not done well, like half-assing it, I guess is like the term. So being able to do all these things at such a high level is amazing. So.
And I'm only able to do that because I have such incredible people that do it with me and are so supportive. And honestly, I wouldn't be able to do it if I didn't have them. So I'm grateful for all of that.
Yeah, a lot of people in the chat are saying what a cool event. Yeah.
Emma came, I think, the last few years. And it's, we all just get together. It's like, do you ever do any shows and like 5 of you and your friends all get together and you have dinner every night and you spend time together and you like chat downstairs in the hotel lobby of whatever event you're saying? It's literally that, but large.
Yeah. Though that was one of the things I liked a lot about the All-American Plant Reptile Expos. They had a vendor. They had something like every night. They had like a pizza party night, and then we went bowling. And I really liked I
love that
camaraderie part of it as well. That was my favorite, just part of the whole thing is that part. So
one of the biggest goals I went into with Flora Fauna Conference was, whether or not it's my show or somebody else's show or somebody that might have been inspired by my show, my goal is that we create a better experience. Like, we deserve better shows. We deserve, and just as much attendees and vendors. Like, we all deserve to have, what's the word I'm looking for? You want to be able to brag about what you're doing, not be like, oh yeah, I'm doing that show. I know it sucks, but you want to be proud of what you're doing. And so this was a huge endeavor. And like I said, if it means we inspired, if it means we create something else, if we only do it for, 10 more years and somebody else takes over, like, I just want us to have a better experience. I want people to approach it. Like, we have a big rule at the show is like no wild caught. And we also inspect every table. If anything is less than perfect, they're asked to leave. Originally, we did an invitation style show, and it wasn't because we were trying to be the popular kids or the ones who were like, oh, you're not good enough. That's never it for me, ever. It's always been, let's create something that we can set an example for, so people, when they come, are inspired and excited, rather than throwing things together. We want it to be intentional and beautiful, so that when you have, pot just fell over in my room. When you have Jane and John come in from outside and they come in and they see this, they're not like, oh, this is gross. It smells like, it's inviting, it's approachable. We can bring and encourage new people to the hobby and new people to the industry, so that we can, keep going and perpetuate our income and our hobby and everything, or our business, depending on how you're doing it. Because how many times do you go to a reptile show and there's like a foul smell because importers brought dead animals, or because, Johnny bought this, 2-week-old bearded dragon with insufficient information on how to care for it, and then it dies, and then I'm cursing the reptile world. I'll never do that again. We want to prevent that. So like I said, if my goal for this show has never been to be so massive. We can't handle that, to be honest. Our capacity is like 400 people, you know. Our goal has been to inspire and to bring people together. So I'm hoping that that's what keeps happening. And I'm hoping shows like All American and some of the others continue to take form and root all over the United States and then some, and create a more positive experience.
Yeah, that's how we get people in and to stay in. And I think it will be a weeding out process as we go on, and weeding out the people that are just churning out and not giving sufficient information. Those people that are buying the animals not being successful because of disease. So I'm hoping that that comes back to bite them and we weed them out so that we can just move forward with quality. And that's a common thing I see coming up too, is quality versus quantity. There's still some the mindset with people just breeding as many clutches as they can and not thinking about the quality of those clutches. I feel like that's something that maybe it's always, I'm new into this, but something that's just maybe always been there. But we are seeing, I think, several people take it more on the quality approach, not only in the breeding, but the shows and the store obviously as well too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that's big in the crested world. And when everything was booming so hard, I would always implore people, please be mindful of your breeding, do all of the things that you can do, and just encourage why that looks like that. But sometimes a course correction in the market will help perpetuate that. And you end up, pet homing out a lot of the not nice stuff, and people really focus on their projects that they're really passionate about. So I'm with you there.
Yeah, I think we've seen, at least in the ball python world, in the last year or year and a half, kind of correcting itself too. And I think it's still going on. It probably will be another year or possibly more. I don't think it will ever go back to really what it was in COVID, but hopefully we're not seeing just the constant price slashing of seeing something that was double or triple the price
100%.
6 months ago. That's what kind of worries me too. And I've only been in it for, I don't know, I guess a year and a half now, but just seeing the stuff, I mean, I get stuff's going to drop, but seeing it drop in within a 6 month time period is pretty crazy.
Oh, it's really wild. And to go from like, depending on that income, or, you just invested a ton of money in a project, and as much as you love it, like, you obviously want to benefit from it. Like we don't do I shouldn't say this. There's a lot of people who do this for the passion and might not need the money out of it, but there's a lot of people who put a lot into it and do need that to come out of it. And to go from like here to here real quickly, it's really hard. And that's why I tell everybody, breed your passion, but you know what I mean? So
yeah, people end up just creating more to cover overhead and all of that. And I think that's an easier way of doing it than, say, doing more quality stuff, because it's breeding, you got animals that have to grow up, it takes time. So people just take the easy out. It's just like, I'm just going to produce more.
Yeah.
So
burn it off the shelves as fast as possible. It's everywhere. It's in every hobby. It's so funny because, like, even though you might not be a crested person, like, we're all in the same boat, I feel like when one is hot, a lot of times they're all hot. It's like people who are, I get like super excited about one project, then I'm like, oh my God, this would be so fun if I did this, this, and this. And I feel like when everybody's doing well, everybody's doing well. You know what I mean? Sorry, my charger.
Oh yeah. I'm going to do some, we're a little bit over the halfway. Let me do some commercials and you can plug in real quick.
Perfect. I'm in them.
Yeah. Oh, you plugged in real quick. That's
all right. But you can do a commercial. Go ahead. I'm chilling.
Let me just play some.
Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. Longevity is one of the biggest things I strive for when it comes to thinking about being a part of the reptile industry. That's why I'm very proud about today's sponsor, Mark Bailey over at Mark Bailey Reptiles. 40 plus years, full-time reptile keeper, enthusiast. This guy, you can catch all his amazing ball python projects on Morph Market. So make sure you head over to Morph Market, and that's Mark Bailey Reptiles on Morph Market. See what he has available currently. And I gotta tell you one thing, he's one of the biggest and most respected ball python breeders we have today in the ball python game. So shout out to Mark Bailey over at Mark Bailey Reptiles. Thank you for all the support. And again, make sure you head over to his account on Morph Market, see what he has available. Thank you so much, Mark Bailey over at Mark Bailey Reptiles. If you're in the ball python game, then you know one of the biggest buzzes going around the hobby as far as reptile shows go is the new Southeast Reptile Expo being thrown by Bob Vu and his crew. Thank you so much, Bob, for being a part of this year's sponsor on the Trap Talk Reptile Network. Very excited to collaborate with you. I'm excited to actually be heading over to Southeast Reptile Expo in February, and that's February 15th and 16th. You can catch me there. Now head over to Southeast Reptile Expo on Instagram and check out Atlanta's #1 reptile show, the newest up-and-coming, most exciting show around in the reptile hobby, and who else better to throw it than Bob Vu. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. One of the biggest growths we have in the reptile industry today are the rare species of reptiles that aren't worked with. That's right. That's why I went ahead and partnered up again with Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. Brian works with species such as kahua geckos, gargoyle geckos, all species of tree monitors. He works with Abronia and many other cool species geckos that you can check out all on his website. Head over to sundownreptiles.com, see what he has available. Brian's one of the best doing it in the reptile industry today. He's been on the show multiple times, so make sure you check out all of Brian Susan's episodes on Trap Talk Reptile Network. But more importantly, for the highest quality of captive bred reptiles, make sure you head over to sundownreptiles.com and make sure you give him a follow on Instagram. Thank you again, Brian Susan over at Sundown Reptiles. Diversity when it comes to a reptile diet, I feel like, is so important. So this is why I'm proud to announce today's sponsor, Blake Exotic Feeders over in Florida. If you want the #1 quail sent to your doorstep and more importantly fed to your reptile, no better company than to go to than Blake Exotic Feeders. Blake can get anywhere from day 1 quail all the way up to extra large quail sent to your doorstep. #1 quality in quail, hands down. And I gotta tell you, my reptiles love it just as much. It'll give you a peace of mind to know that these quail are grown on his property and it's not bought third party. Head over to his website, Blake Exotic Animal Ranch, to place your order, or you could just hit him up directly on Instagram. His name's Blake, real nice guy. Follow his Instagram, Blake Exotic Feeders. Let him know that the Trap sent you and he'll take extra good care of you. Thank you so much, Blake, for supporting the Trap, and also thank you so much for sending me top quality homegrown quail for my animals.
All right, cool commercials. MJ's done so
I love it.
I needed those too because my computer also got low on charge, so I had to go run and get my computer charger.
That was perfect timing because, well, I was going to say the last time I was on a podcast with MJ, I think it had been a little while, but I love the commercials. It's so official.
Yeah, yep. So I kind of been doing that. And we're a little over an hour, so yeah, we'll go for a little bit longer. Time has just flown by, went by so fast.
I love it. That's always a good thing. If you're having fun and you're like, wow, it's been an hour, I'm here for it. So
yeah, no, it's been great. We've talked about a lot of different things. The show, the store. Was the show something you always kind of wanted to do as well, or what was the story behind that?
So, okay, it's funny. It wasn't really something I always had envisioned doing, but it kind of happened. So one night, Samantha Maddox, do you know Sam Crestopia?
I feel like I've heard the name. I don't know her directly, but I think I've heard the name.
She's great. You should talk to her and see if she wants to come on.
Yeah.
And Allie, all of these women are amazing. And Emily Burke and Christy, and I think there was one other person. It might have just been the few of us. We were all sitting on the floor with our holdbacks and our amazing things. We were just swapping things around. And we're like, okay, I'll trade you this. You want to trade that? And it was such a cool experience. I was like, I wish everybody could do this on a huge scale. And that was kind of how Flora Fauna Conference had come to pass, you know? And my aunt was like, oh, I have this one weird weekend in May where she does 2 different pricing for weddings. It's the price point where it's off season, and then there's the price point where it's in season. And there's this one weekend in between where like, oh, if I just did the weekend before, it would have been cheaper. Or, oh, if I did a weekend after, it's more expensive. So we took that one in between weekend. And she's like, I have it available. And I was like, all right, you know what? Let's do it.
Let's take
it. It was very, very small, but the feedback was resounding. And one of the things that we had adjusted was adding the conference day to the conference because it would, make sense. And yeah, we had so much fun with coming up with ideas of how we can make it bougie and like how we can make it appealing and how we could convince at the time our vendors, if they made $0, they would leave with so much wealth of information and contacts and everything, so that the sales were just a really great additional perk to coming to the show.
That's really cool. It's a really unique, thinking of it.
Yeah, because really, how many times, I don't know if especially like in the veterinary world, like when you go to seminars and other things like that, and you're spoiled for the weekend. Hopefully they're spoiling you. I don't know if you're at that point yet.
Depends on the conference.
Yeah, you'll get there. I'm sure of it. But how many times do you go to these things and you're not like, oh, I'm here to make money. You're here to learn. You're here to do all these things. And you're here to gain the experience and the knowledge and whatever they're trying to sell you or whatever. We were like, we could do better than that. We could create that and create an experience that people want to show up for and they want to join in on and be a part of and watch it grow. And it has. We started with it like it was so embarrassing the first time. I think we sold like 100 tickets. It was very, very minimal, but you want to know what? It was probably the best one because everybody became friends. We were doing karaoke. We were just having such a good time. And every year we've seen such nice growth that we're very fortunate. So yeah.
That's really great to see too. Yeah. Cause when starting out with anything new, it can be a challenge and it's not going to be a success right off the bat. Doesn't mean that it can't be. Exactly. Stuff like the shows definitely takes time, word of mouth, doing things like this, getting the name out there more, which is not an overnight thing.
No, it takes a long time. And people have to trust us. Like people don't know us. So you're like, I'm not going all the way out to New York for that. But the reality is all it takes is a couple really big people to come out. And then you create another market that we're pulling in that can all meet. And that's when like cross sales happen. Like I have friends, we do shows and they're like, dude, there was this ball python, it was pink and blah, 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 or whatever. I'm like, get it. An enabler. Get it, go buy it. You need one.
Come to the side. Yeah,
exactly. So like, that's where all this also happens is we wanted to create that you're here together. We're all trading our best quality stuff. Everybody brings their bests because that's what the expectation is. They have one table typically. Some people will get two, but it's never more than that. And we're bringing our best of our best, and that's what we're showing off, and that's what's happening. And it works really beautifully. And it's like a big old, trade fest. Like we all get together and we're like, oh, I brought these. You have to see this. You're going to really like it. And I'll be like, oh my God, yeah, I want that. Okay, I'll take this. You take that. And it's just so fun. So you should.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Join if you can.
And very professional looking as well, which helps to draw people in. Because you go to some of these shows and they're just, we all know it just the look and the raggedy, and it gives off a vibe. Like if you're gonna do this, you got to do it at the right level. Otherwise, people come by your table in a split second. They make that decision whether they're going to stop or not, and what draws them in. So
exactly. And we have like the tables are like beautiful wood tables and string lights and it's just so magnificent. So I really like it. So thank you for asking and talking about it, because again, it's just something we are very, very, very proud of, and it's a lot of fun. So we'll have to get you out there. We'll figure out a way to make it happen.
Yeah, no, I can definitely tell your passion of it, which is really awesome to see. What would you like, maybe not change, but how would you like to evolve it in the next, say, couple years?
So, I don't know. Honestly, every year we are like, okay, what did we do? We always have this like conversation post show. What could we do different? What could we do better? How can we just keep bringing more people to the hobby that would be excited? How do we modify? How do we make things smoother? And we just, every year it just keeps evolving naturally on its own. But my vision, if we continue to go this way, would probably, like I say, bring more conference style shows to people where we do 2 days of show, Friday VIP, Saturday day, and then Sunday is just all day classes and education that you could sign up for. And that's like a part of a one price ticket. I hate price gouging. I hate like when you go somewhere and they're like, oh yeah, this is amazing, it's included. And then they're like, oh, but you have to pay $15 to sign up for this. Oh, and then you need $20 to sign up for that. And I don't like that. I want it to be like, you know what it is, that's how much it is, and it's done.
Yep.
Oh, Emily Burke also made these, and she's going to teach another one this year. All these little molds of crested geckos, and did a full how to paint by paint create. And it was amazing. So that one is extra because she supplies the products. But aside from that, and everybody should do it because it's really fun.
That's really cool. So it's like a little figurine with the different colors on it. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I always
and
like
you can go and watch it for free. Like nobody's going to tell you can't see it. But if you want to make one, that's the only one that we have in addition to. But it's because she hand makes the entire cast that she pours. It's like a whole work of art. But it's really fun.
That's really, really cool. Yeah. I always liked doing that as a kid. I would get the paint by numbers. And usually had some animal. It was always some animal related thing. But
me too.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Cool.
Yeah. I wanted to be a SeaWorld dolphin trainer for my entire first half of my life. I probably would still do it now. They just wouldn't hire me.
I did. That was what I wanted to be as well. That was like, you know, when you're in kindergarten and at graduation, they have you come up on the stage and say what you want to be when you grow up. And I think that's what I said. Yeah. It was like
who wouldn't want to do that? Can we talk about it? Who wouldn't do that? Nobody.
I don't know. Seeing some of those like documentaries with a killer whale ends up like, then
who wouldn't want to do it prior to Blackfish? Let's talk about that. Prior to that, when I was a kid, I used to be obsessed with Free Willy. Did you ever watch the movie Free Willy? That's what I wanted. I wanted a whale to love me and only me.
Yes. My grandma got that where there was like adopt a whale and you spent money and you had your own whale that they sent. Who knows if that was actually the case. And my siblings and I were so obsessed with that movie that we actually got scissors and we cut her hair so that we would have short hair like that boy in the movie.
Yeah, wait, first of all, his name is Jason James Richter. I was obsessed with him as a kid.
I forgot his name in the movie. I remember
remind me, I have a funny story to tell you, or I can tell you about it. But yeah, I was obsessed. I can't believe you cut your hair.
My mom was so angry. We did in my mom's bedroom, and my sisters, we were like cutting our hairs and be like, yeah, we want to be like the Free Willy boy.
You know, flippy curly hair.
And that's when I really got into mashed potatoes, and I've liked him ever since because there was that one scene at the table, and he's like eating a ton of mashed potatoes, and
put it down so we could leave again.
What was that?
Was when he was like shoving it down so we could leave.
Yes. It was like the first dinner night when and parents are just staring at him like, are you starving or something?
Are you okay? Yeah. I was obsessed with him. You know, back in the day, it's not the same anymore, but back in the day when you had like the Tiger Beat magazine and like all those different like boy magazines that you would like flip through and all that, whatever. Anyways, Jason James Richter, which is why I know his name, had a page with his address and he could write fan mail. So my little, 10-year-old self, 11-year-old self, I don't remember how old I was at the time. Thank you, Emma. Emma knows. I love you. Well, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, that was like, but it was like a whole thing. We were like a cult, right? We all had all of our loves. And anyways, so I wrote him a letter and every day I ran to the mailbox after school. Every day I was like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. He's going to write me. I sent him like a poster and everything. And one day I'm driving home with my dad in the car and I don't know. There's a part of me, I don't know if he did this or not, but he goes, if that little shit, I'm sorry if I'm allowed to say this or not, that little shit doesn't write you back, I'm going to call him up and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And he was like fully threatening this like 12-year-old boy who I was obsessed with. That was a Hollywood superstar at the time. And that day I opened it, I had my signed poster from Jason James Richter. And I was like, he loves me. This is official. And I didn't know if it was my dad or he won't tell me to this day, but
oh, that's so funny.
it was so cute. So
that's funny. Yeah, those shows were great. The first one, oh, there was 2 or 3 of them, I think.
Oh, definitely. Well, I know there's for sure 2, but I feel like there might have been a third.
I think there was a third. Maybe it was one of those that wasn't as good. I mean, the first one's always the classic.
But I loved the second one too. I thought that was good too.
Where they had like the family, like a brother and sister. Yeah, then he finds out that he has the brother. I'm gonna have to go and watch those now.
We have to watch them. I should show them to my son, but I think it was like, if I can recall, they were like out camping somewhere and then the whale just shows up or something. And I'm like, what? This is what I want. This is what my life should look like.
A little harmonica. I would get that, and then my family would always go to Florida and travel, and so I would go and I'd be singing that little harmonica. I was like, where are the whales at?
Here's the hope. Here's the hope. That's amazing. I love that.
No, that was a thing growing up. I would go to the beach or the ocean.
All the people chatting, right? We're all the same. I was obsessed with Hanson too. I loved Jonathan Taylor Thomas. There was like a bunch of them. I just watched an article today, or watched an article. You know how TikTok reels happen. Did you ever see Idle Hands with Devin Sawa? Is that his name?
I don't think so. I've not heard of that.
He was real big back in the day. They're doing a remake or a reboot of Idle Hands. So you should look it up after.
I'll look that. What's it about?
It's been so long. It's basically his hands are not his own, and they keep doing things like killing people or something. I don't know. Honestly, I don't even remember, but I remember Devin Sawa. So
okay, I'll look that up. No, yeah, Free Willy, man. I was obsessed with
those. Idle Hands and Free Willy. Yeah, we have to go back and watch all these things and like chat about it or something.
Yeah, though I have so many. I just remember my mom being so angry about us cutting our hair.
That's amazing. I need a picture. Please post it and tag me. Thank you.
I don't know if she took pictures. She was so mad.
Oh no. She snuck one in, I'm sure.
Oh God. Oh, Seth Green.
Oh yeah, Seth Green.
I don't know who that is either.
Oh, did you ever see, please, we have to talk about this. Have you not ever seen Austin Powers?
Okay, yes. Okay. I wasn't super into it, but I know about it.
So Seth Green was he was like huge in a lot of the like that generation movies, but when Austin Powers happened, he's Dr. Evil's son who tries to be evil but isn't evil, and then eventually becomes evil but isn't really evil. So yeah, you have to look it all up. We have to send you a list. You'll see all the things.
Yeah. I've heard some of the names I've heard about. I just don't remember watching it.
Yeah,
those too much. Besides the Free Willy movie, but yeah, man.
So good.
Down memory lane.
All the things that we need in our life, right?
So funny. Checking any questions as we kind of finish up. Oh,
I don't know if I know Ethan Embry. Maybe I do. You might have to send me a message after with who that is or what they're in.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
I don't either. Andrew Keegan was a big one too. Oh, he was so cute. There's so many. I love them all.
So many records. I don't really have much. No. Oh, Zac Efron was a big one.
Oh, yeah.
I was a big High School Musical fan.
I never saw it. It was like right after my generation of like, things to watch. But I love all that stuff. Like, I don't know how I never saw it. Maybe I'll watch it now.
It was pretty good. I liked that one and the Cinderella movie. The boy in that, I forgot his name. Austin something. Maybe not. I don't remember the name. But
okay,
yeah.
Cinderella story. That was so good. I loved all of those.
Yes.
Nerd for all that stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
My favorite movie ever was She's the Man. Did you ever watch She's the Man with Amanda Bynes?
It sounds familiar.
You gotta go. That's your homework tonight. Watch that tonight. So good.
Oh, it's got is that who I think it is? Oh my, Channing Tatum.
Yes, it's Channing Tatum. It was like one of his first films. Amazing.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't know that.
Yes. I will watch that tonight. I have
to
some.
watch it. It's so good. It's like one of my favorites.
I don't think I've seen that. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to. See that. I have some. I'm a night owl, so I usually stay up really late. So
I get that. I used to be. I try not to be now because we have a child who has to get up every day at 6:50 in the morning for school. So tiring. It's so
yeah.
fun.
I don't know what it's been. I just haven't been able to fall asleep really for the past few months. I stay up really late, then I get up really early, and it's kind of I don't know what's. Sometimes I don't even. There was one night I had to go up. I had to leave on a plane for the holidays, and I didn't even go to sleep. I was just stayed up all night. Didn't even go to sleep till the next day.
You need like a reset, like a hard reset, where you like either just take a whole day where you just stay in bed, and then the next day you do everything as active as humanly possible, and hopefully you'll go to sleep at a normal time.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that. I've been busy with a lot of PhD stuff lately, so hopefully
that's probably why.
That I think so. I found out that I had to kind of graduate a little bit early, and then I have a big meeting on Tuesday to like let everybody know that's the plan. I'm praying that they all will agree.
Yeah, that's a lot on your brain. That will keep you up at night. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
it will.
For sure. Yeah, all these ladies in here are like, yeah, Lisa.
I love it.
Cool. Well, kind of wrapping up here. Was there anything I definitely have to have you on again for sure? Maybe even like a panel. I think would be cool. Like if you wanted to bring some friends on, I think
we could definitely do that. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we can schedule one a few months. Was there anything I didn't ask that you wanted to talk about or anything like that?
But I could talk for hours. I'm a very social human being, so.
Yeah,
we could have a whole segment just on Taylor Swift, which the Chiefs won, which I never watched football other than to watch either the Giants or the Dolphins. And now I just always want to catch a glimpse of our little girl here,
Okay, so they did win. I'm in Columbia, Missouri, actually. So I'm in big Chiefs territory. And we were interviewing people today, and we went to a local brewery for dinner. And I was watching the game a little bit there, and they looked like they were up, but I since haven't.
It was super tight. Like
it looked like
a little anxious. Brett came in and he's like, anytime I would watch, the Bills would, I don't know, whatever the opposite was, that he's like, I'm not a fan. I'm like, get over it. You need to be a fan. We need to work on this. So, whatever. That's our argument. But they did win.
Okay. So it'll be them and the Eagles then. Yeah, I'm in deep Kansas City Chief tier. Kansas City's like probably 2 hours.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
I'll come out and we'll go to a game.
Yeah. No, we'll talk. What's your favorite Taylor Swift song?
Oh, that's so hard. If you ask me my favorite album, I would struggle because I love them all. But how about you go first? And then I'll see if I'm inspired. See, it's hard.
It's hard because my favorite era was like that 2008, 2012. I forgot the cover of it. I think of the teardrops on my guitar cover.
So maybe like Fearless. Was that Fearless timeline?
It was, yes, the Fearless.
And
I would say the Fearless is my favorite album.
Yeah. Fearless is great. Have you listened to like Tortured Poets Department in its entirety?
I've listened to several of them. It's funny. Somebody had me on a podcast to discuss that.
I love it. But yeah. How do I get on those podcasts too? I love this one, but I need some of those also in my life.
Yeah, they knew I'm a Swift girl because I grew up listening to her and I was in the country and I had my own guitar and I write my own songs and she was like my little idol. But yeah, Fearless.
I love that. And I love her and I love what she inspires in women. Like it's such a big deal to have amazing role models that stand up for, what they believe in, but also are awesome. So
yeah.
I will tell you, if you haven't, you should just like really sit down to all of them and listen to the Torture Poets Department. However, I love All Too Well. It's just such a great song. And a few others that are just, they always hit. My son's obsessed with London Boy right now. And he listens to it and says, all right, start it over. All right, start it. And I'm not saying the name because then everybody's devices go off. And we do that during our lives and we laugh all the time. But yeah, no, she's great. And I actually was so lucky in October, I got to go see her.
Oh my goodness. My friend did. She like asked me, but I was like, the tickets were like $1,000 or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm on student salary still
You're
for
on student salary. It's hard.
I can't drop a grant. Of
I
course,
know.
I'll do that on a snake. No problem.
Yes, no problem. Like that's so we ended up actually spending more than that. But I said, if I can spend this on a gecko, I should be able to spend this on a life-changing experience. And it was life-changing. It was incredible. It was incredible. If you ever need an amazing woman with brilliant ideas and just so smart and innovative and kind but savvy and a hustler, her name is Lexi Fontana. Well, Alexis Gonzalez, but Lexi Fontana from Fontanimal Plant House. They have reptiles and plants, but their plant business is massive. She's probably one of the most incredible human beings you'll ever get to talk to. You should definitely talk to her and bring her on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Fontana Animal?
Fontanimal.
Okay.
F-O-N. It's Fontana with Emol, like Fontanimal Plant House.
Okay.
I'll send you her stuff and hopefully she'll say yes and come on because she's really great.
Awesome. Yeah, we can have her on, whoever we want on for the panel. Cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she would be perfect for our panel.
Yes.
I got this. We'll create a group. I'm excited.
Sweet. Just check in, see if there's any last questions. A lot of people, yeah, great show. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of people tapped in. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. This is great. I'm so excited. I got to hang out and meet you and all this fun stuff, but now we'll get you to the show and come hang out. And
Yep. I would definitely be down. So I love the shows. Cool.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll have you on again. How can people follow you?
So we have 1 million pages at this point. We have Flora Fauna Conference on Instagram, Flora Fauna WF on Instagram, and Morph Menagerie on Instagram. Those are probably the best 3 ways. But if you want me and talk to me, I run Morph Menagerie, and then Morgan helps run the other 2 pages.
Awesome.
She does run these 2 pages. She's amazing.
You guys heard that? Go and give a follow, give a like.
Thank you.
And we'll go from there. Well, awesome. Fantastic show. We already have another one playing in the works. So that's amazing. With that, I'll take you off screen. I'll finish up here really quickly. Okay.
Bye guys. Thank you. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. All right. Great show, guys. I'm super excited to have Miss Gabby on again. So yeah, if you haven't already, go and follow her on social media. Check out the websites to the show and everything. Hopefully you guys can make it out. I'll definitely be adding it to my plan to go to shows. I think they'll be a lot of fun. And so yeah, so same time, same place next week on the Girls Who Love Reptiles podcast. I'll be having Adeline Robinson on. So super excited to have her. And like always, if you got questions or anything, don't be afraid to hit me up in your DM. And with that, have a great week, guys.